So let's have a lesson on this Nocturne by Mertz. You can get the sheet music. There's a link for that underneath the video. And I'm teaching this to one of my students right now, so it was kind of on my mind this week. And it's such a great Romantic era work for intermediate level students. It has all the ingredients of a Romantic work. Different sections that are very scene oriented, like they have very specific moods and the mood changes regularly. So lots of emotional outpouring throughout the piece. It also has a number of techniques involved in the piece, like barré and pivot bars, lots of pivot bars in this one, and it kind of utilizes the whole guitar and has some excitement in it and lush chords and things like that. So it's a really great piece, and I really enjoy teaching it. So let's have like a quick overview of the piece, and then we'll just kind of walk through and talk about some of the difficulties within it. So the opening statement is pretty like stern and straightforward, right? It's a real statement. Pretty serious, right? So just a very straightforward presentation of the serious mood. But then, when we get to bar 8, this is so, Schubert or something like that. So you have this soft accompaniment, but you have this real mood. It's like I was teaching this to a younger child, so I was telling him about thinking about this as maybe someone walking through a forest at nighttime and it's dark and very mysterious almost. Or maybe something's watching. Or maybe it's someone trudging through the snow or something. Something like the Winterreise or something. So there's these different moods, and you have to use your technique to kind of accomplish those different moods. So setting the accompaniment off, very soft, but persistent. And then this bass melody comes kind of pouring through that. So it's very emotional scene, right? And then we arrive at this different scene, down at bar 12 with the Dolce. It's like we've emerged from that dark forest and now we've met our lover or something like that, or we've returned home or something. It's much more happy, right? And it's like very loving, and it's a real different mood. So we've had 3 moods so far. That opening, quite serious upfront opening, and then kind of darker, mysterious setting, and then this kind of happier, or more major section. And then we have, after that major section, it starts to kind of like the darkness kind of starts to infect that mood a little bit. And we start to get a little bit more drama happening, right? You start to get these kind of like dramatic incursions on your happy mood. Especially, or back to the statement from the beginning. So when that beginning returns, we've really returned to that first mood. And then at bar, so that return is at bar 24, right? That's the opening passage all over again. And then we have that same mood at 32, that dark forest, or whatever scene you want to imagine. And then we have the più mosso, which is just a little bit more. Just drama, more drama. It's like maybe we're running away from something, or who knows, right? And then it ends with that very serious statement. So although there's a hopeful little section in there, I think that the dark minor statements in this piece really win out in the end, making it very emotionally charged, right? So that's kind of an overview of the piece. So let's just do a quick walkthrough of the piece and just talk about a few different things in it. Starts off with that stern statement. Just use your guide fingers there. You just have to jump back, but try to connect the phrasing, right? So you don't have a whole bunch of like little tiny individual chunks, but it's just one statement. Then here, pivot into a bar A. Because you're playing the same minor chord with an open E, and you want to let everything ring out to the last minute, so you bar A, pivot bar A, and then pivot out, pivot back in, and then you're home free. Then you have these little staccatos. Don't overdo them. They're still accompaniment, right? Just light, but detached. F double sharp, you can think of it as an open G if you want. It is a double sharp, but a double sharp is F, F sharp, G. So F, it's an open third string. It's the best way to describe it. And then into this mood. So we've already talked about this. Just keep the accompaniment fingers nice and soft. So I use M and A. And then I use the thumb to like insert the bass voice. To say here, just it's about creating the mood. Cadence to here, to the dolce. Dolce is sweetly, so kind of let the tone open up and be warm. But keep that melody. Very much like nice romantic melody. So 3 voices: bass voice, accompaniment, and melody. Lots of phrasing, right? Like like little dynamic shapings. When the notes go up, let it crescendo and come back down. So lots of like micro dynamics or just musical shaping with the phrasing, right? 14. That's an interesting point there. Because we're going into a bar 3, we should bar that F sharp on the 2nd fret. Otherwise, we would have to jump into a bar at the last minute. It'd be hard to connect it, right? So measure 16, bar 2, bar 3. Sorry. It's such a nice moment. Showcases how Mertz is like, he's a pretty good composer. He really had the musical language of the era down pat on the guitar. Again, that's a pivot bar there. We're playing this chord here. We get the F by pivoting down because we want the C to keep ringing. Pivot, bar. Here, remember the A flat is the note you really want to bring out. This stuff, it's fun, but it's kind of just accompaniment, right? Actually, I missed some notes there. You have to include the bass the whole time, right? Lots of barring. That's okay. And then this dramatic moment. Maybe more dramatic that he accents the offbeats there. It's kind of weird. He accents all the non-chord tone offbeats, which are it's kind of like increases the intensity as well there. And then you're back to the beginning. Pivot. Pivot again. Bass line. Detached. So when you come down, it's different this time, right? That passage, you have your first finger on C, open E, and then you pivot into a bar A to get that F, and then pivot out. Back to this dark section. Sorry. You just let it kick it up a notch. That part there, it's pretty easy. Like the notation's a little bit funny to read, but it's just constant eighth notes, right? Bass, then upper voice, bass, bass, then upper voice. Here, use 3-2 so that the second finger can guide up the second string to do that passage. It's absolutely essential that you have your second finger there. And then you're not like fiddling around there. So 3-2, shift, execute the top material, shift back down. You have to include the bass each time, so exchange again, same thing. Just do some shaping. I know he has piano forte, but it's just like shaping into that upper chord. 5 chord, 5 chord. A little reminiscent of his tarantella there. Forzando on that D sharp, but it's a juicy note. It's fun. Lots of pivoting and bar A's everywhere. Keep your third finger on A, slide it up, and do a full bar even though you don't need it yet. That way you can transition from here without jumping into a bar. So third finger, D minor, and your bar A will already be there and it'll be nice and smooth. So, yeah. Then softer and softer still. I like to do a little bit of detachment on those chords. Kind of like a pianist placing the chord nicely. Gives it a little bit more of a serious, not just like super legato, but like a little bit more stern or serious like character to it there. So I hope you find that useful. Lots of pivoting and specific fingerings. None of it's too hard, but it's a little bit of a challenge.